Hey, what's happening? I'm Claudio, and today I'm going to be adding some walls to my small trailer to make it more versatile and practical. I used to own a Honda race quad, and this trailer was built specifically to haul that around. I don't own the quad anymore, and I need a better way of taking construction and green waste to the dump. If you want to see what I did, stick around. Let's make it now.
This little trailer has been neglected over the years. I brought it into the garage to see exactly what I was working with. The wiring was a disaster and the lights were a mess. I started by clipping off the zip ties that were holding the lights to the frame. I removed the extra wire that was wrapped around the tongue all the way to the back. I also detached the trailer wire connector. These tiny fences, although useful to strap down an ATV, were of no use to me now. I used a grinder to break down the horrible welds I had made back in college. I ground away the excess weld, trying not to dig into the frame itself. Once the fence came off, I ground the frame smooth, and to make sure the metal didn't begin to rust, I sprayed on some black rust-stopping paint. I continued grinding all the way around the trailer until the 3 fences were gone and the frame was bare. Next, I cleaned up and prepped to install the hardware. This was the hardware that I bought: screws, bolts, stake pockets, and more. I began by marking out where the stake pockets would be located with a silver Sharpie. I used a metal punch with a hammer to mark the centers, and then using some oil, drilled out the holes using a 3/8 inch carbide bit. I continued around the trailer until all 8 pocket locations were drilled out. Here are the 2x4s I picked up for the fence. I went to the miter saw and cut a couple of the sides to length. I assembled them on the trailer and measured the front and back. I cut them to length and could now put them in place to check the fit. Each of the walls includes both a top and bottom stretcher, so I cut the rest of them with the miter saw. I brought the hardware over to the trailer and began loading up the bolts with washers and then attaching the stake pockets. These are 3/8 inch galvanized bolts with lock washers and a nut. I used an impact driver to make sure they were good and tight. Then I attached the other 7 pockets. I measured out 32 inches, which is the height of the fence, on the first board and then used it to set up a stop block for the rest. I mocked up the fence using some quick clamps to hold the 2x4s until I could fasten them in place. Using a large speed square, I made sure the boards were square, then pre-drilled and screwed in some 3-inch deck screws. With the same technique, I secured the other 2 connections on the same side, then I did the same on the opposite fence. Since the front is stationary, I just attached the stringers from one side to the other using the same deck screws. The back fence needed to be removable for easy unloading. I used some clamps to keep it in position and then screwed everything together. At this point, I realized I forgot to leave enough room to attach the latch brackets. The easiest fix I came up with was to mount them on the inside instead. I pulled the back fence off, clamped it to the bench, and using the circular saw, cut about an 1/8 inch off of each end. I could now pre-drill and fasten the brackets with heavy-duty lag screws. I continued attaching the vertical boards to finish the walls. I cut them to length, drilled holes, and fastened them with deck screws. Functionally, the fence was complete. I took the trailer outside for a quick coat of paint to try and match the black steel base. Nothing fancy, just a couple cans of spray. And here's the finished product. It's a tiny, weird-looking trailer, but I have found it to be incredibly useful. I also mounted the taillights in a more permanent fashion, and the back wall can easily be removed for unloading.
Sometimes you have to purchase new tools or supplies to get a job done. In this case, I was able to upgrade my old trailer and turn it into something more useful. I've since used it several times successfully to take large loads to the dump. I challenge you to try to upgrade or repurpose something you already own, even if it's not as big as a trailer. If you like this project, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on social media at MakeItNowChannel, and you can check out my website at www.makeitnow.tv. If you have any friends that you think might like this video, please share it with them. It really helps me out. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.